Good morning. Good morning, Crosswalk. I would like to encourage you to go grab a plate and let's eat.
We're eating now.
The music. The music. Good morning. Are you all enjoying brunch? Yay. So glad you are. We were trying to hurry because there's a lot packed into today's service, so I want to make sure you all get the opportunity to hear everything that's being shared. So, of course, welcome to Crosswalk. I am so glad you're here. I'm so glad you chose to be here. Please be sure and go back and get more of the egg bake. We made lots of it. So I was thinking you guys would all want to try all three kinds. So, feel free. Anyway, lots of great stuff going on. If you're new or visiting our church for the first time, welcome. Thank you for choosing to be here. I would like to encourage you to stop by our welcome table back there in the back. We have a gift bag that we are going to offer you. And then we also encourage you to choose any of the books that are on that table as our gift to you. So be sure you do that. Lots of great stuff going on. Pledge forms. How many of you got pledge forms in the mail? With that long 8-page thing? We have a box in the back. So when you start bringing in your pledge forms, you can just drop them in the box back there. I do want to let you know, for those of you who have gone into Realm or used your Realm Connect app to do a pledge, that does not set up the payments. So you can do your pledge that will tell our committee how much has been pledged for the whole 2 years of our capital campaign. But then you need to go back in and set up the giving part of it. So I didn't realize that. I did my pledge and thought, yes, I'm on it. I'm going to give every month. And I was just told that doesn't set up the giving. You have to go back in and set that up separately. So if you need help with any of that, you can ask Pete or Carol or Ed or any of us. We can help you go in and get that done, whether it's on your Realm app or if it's online. So just let us know what you need help with to get that set up. Also, wanted to let you know we're doing a Monday, Thursday service this coming Thursday. It is a very cool service. It's very intimate. We do communion together, but we're also offering baptisms. So if you're interested in being baptized, if you've been thinking about it, you're just not sure, you want some more information on it, please let us know. It will be at the Monday, Thursday service at 7 o'clock on Thursday. Want to encourage you all to come and be part of that. And then also want to remind you, I forgot to announce this. We are doing Easter lilies, decorating the church in memory or honor of our loved ones. So if you would like to do an Easter lily in memory or honor of your loved ones, just grab an envelope out of the bucket on the table, put $7 in there to cover the cost of the Easter lily. And then we want to encourage you to take that Easter lily home with you on Easter Sunday after our service. And then also for any of you that are interested in membership, we have quite a few people who have been had requested to become members. So I'll let Pete cover that with you. But if you are interested in being a member and you haven't let us know, please let us know. We present your name to the Board of Stewards. They vote you in as a member, and that makes it official. So if you're looking to do that, please let us know. And then also, I want to remind you that they're doing mindfulness meditation today, right after this service. They were grateful that we're doing the meal during the service because otherwise it interferes with their mindfulness meditation. So be sure you join over across the hall from the kitchen door in conference room 1 right after this service. And then also want to remind you, Pete is doing praxis at 12 noon this coming Tuesday, but not Tuesday at 7 p.m. So want to encourage you, if you want to be part of that, come to the noon event. And then also wanted to let you know that beginning April 22nd, he's going to be starting a series on the book of Acts. So put that on your calendar if you want to be part of that and plan on being here. Again, thank you for choosing to be here at Crosswalk. Again, please go back and get more eggs. Enjoy breakfast as long as you would like. Pete, come on up.
Give it up for Dar. All right. How are the eggs? Delicious? Thank you, Danny and Dar, for slaving away at that. So it smells so good in here. So glad you guys are with us today. Want to recap a little bit where we have been the last few weeks. We're in a series really all about this capital campaign. We got 2 whopper issues. We need to repair our roof, our flat roof areas, and we need to repair our parking lot. That is the bulk of our pursuit. But we'll do some pretty things in here and some other things which will be cool as well. But thank you so much for your participation. Over the weeks, we've been talking about how Crosswalk has offered shelter in life storms. The first week, we started off with Crosswalk as an oasis for places for people to come and sort out their faith. Maybe they didn't quite jibe with the faith of their youth and they're trying to stretch things out, but a lot of churches don't allow you to ask very difficult questions, and we welcome them, we pursue them. The next week, we talked about how Crosswalk stands with people who are in the immigration process, regardless of their documentation, and how we speak humanity and humaneness, no matter who a person is, but then also with other partners in the community. We offer our space for immigration clinics, and oh my goodness, I mean, it's been many dozens of people have made their way toward documentation because we've said yes with other partners toward that. Last week, we talked about Crosswalk as being a place of refuge for those evacuated by Mother Nature, and we heard from a couple of our own. This week, we're going to be talking about how Crosswalk is a haven for people who are mistreated just by being who they are. And I'll tell you that there are lots of ways the church needs to speed up on a range of issues. People of color, the church has a long ways to go on that. Gender equality and inclusion, it's crazy to me that is still so hard for the church globally to figure out. But the third rail issue for most churches in our world today, which is the primary issue that many people use to search to find out if a church is going to be open enough for them, has to do with LGBTQ welcoming and affirming. And Crosswalk proudly is. We have been for a long time. I just realized that it was 10 years ago, in 2015, that I offered a whopper sermon that got a lot of noise in Napa and in our region. and paved the way for a lot of other things to happen. 16 years ago, I taught about it the very first time, and it strangely went unnoticed, which may say more about my preaching than anything else. But anyway, this is the theme that we're looking at today. We've got some really special features for you today, a couple voices that I want you to hear, and we're going to start with Becky Jo Peterson. Come on up.
Okay. It's not the floppy one. I missed the floppy one. Well, good morning, everybody. I feel a lot more able to do this than I did at 9 o'clock because my belly's full. Like some of you who I've had the pleasure of talking with, I was raised in this church when it was First Baptist Church of Napa. It was a much more traditional, conservative, transactional sort of church at that time. And one of the main things I remember learning was if you do X, Y, and Z, you will get to heaven. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, you're going to go to hell. And I never really could fit all of that into my head. But I have returned here to my home church as often as possible as my life has meandered. But I've been attending here regularly again since 2012. It has really been a joy and a delight to stretch and grow with this church and to see where we've all become. And I consider this to be a warm, judgment-free, welcoming place, really for all people. One of the many joys of my life has been becoming a grandmother. In 2012, my grandson Luca was born to my daughter and son-in-law in Southern California, and they attended a very conservative Christian church at that time. And when it came time for them to increase their family, they decided that they were going to adopt because there were a lot of children in the world that needed homes. So a woman in Missouri chose them to be the family for her unborn African-American child, and the little boy Kendrick was born in 2015, and he is as much my beloved grandson as my grandson Luca. Even in my own family, a lot of eyebrows were raised at this decision, and I can remember fielding questions about, can't Jacqueline have any more children of her own? And there are a lot of children in the world that need to be adopted. I'm sure there are just as many white children as black children. Why did she choose to adopt a black child? And Ed and I, trying to navigate everything and being as loving and supporting as we possibly could, tried to learn as much about Black culture as possible, even in our little tiny white brains, which I'm always amazed that how white I am. How many things I just don't know. How white and how straight I am. I'm going to get to that in a minute too. But I didn't know the term cisgender. I just knew that I didn't get a lot of things. But anyway, after about 6 years from that time, my daughter's marriage fell apart. She and her husband decided to split ways for some very good reasons. Then she was the single mother of 2 boys and on her own. And after a lot of experimentation, and I said before, this is one of the chances where parents have to just bite their cheek and shut up. But just be there for your kids. And she identifies now as bisexual and decided that she was only going to date women. Men didn't get it, and that she wanted to have a life that she felt was more authentic. She found a wonderful woman named Chantel, and they are getting married in September. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. And my daughter's experience in this conservative Christian church was one where they told her that you need to stay in this marriage, this abusive marriage, where there were addictions and all kinds of things going on, and because it's your responsibility as a woman to keep this marriage alive. And if you leave, you're going to hell, basically. Eventually, she decided hell was worth it, and left that marriage. And as a psychologist, then her focus became helping LGBTQ people as they came out and were ostracized from their church and their family. So your 2 main support systems are shattered, and how do you navigate life with that? Now, She consults mostly with those in the LGBTQ community, some couples and some others as well, and especially supports her trans clients who are really fearful for their lives and are seriously debating, do I leave the country? Do I stay here? How safe is it for me to be in America anymore? If only my daughter's church experience was like what we have here at Crosswalk. If she had what we have, I believe she would still have faith in the community of Jesus followers to support her in all of her life's decisions. One of my saddest moments was when I was visiting them in Austin, and my grandson, who's 12, was watching television with me, and there was a mob of people harassing a young gay man. And my grandson said, "Oh, they must be Christians." And, after my heart started going again, I was glad I was there because I had the opportunity to say, not all Christians act that way. Not all Christians believe that way. And in fact, we believe in my community that it's our calling to be as Jesus was and to be loving and kind and respectful to everyone. So I appreciate Crosswalk, and I am grateful to be here, and I'm thankful that it is a safe and loving place for everybody.
Thank you, Becky. That was super, super powerful. Today is Palm Sunday. If you weren't paying attention, next week that means it is. Hey, how about that? I didn't forget. So this week being Palm Sunday is kind of a strange holiday in the Christian year. This is the day, if you read it in your Bible, it will have a heading, the triumphal entry. And that's kind of right. So Jesus is coming in for Passover festival in Jerusalem. He's traveled all the way down from kind of the Sea of Galilee area. It took many days to get down there. And he had some things set up. He had some plans for how he wanted to enter into and make his debut, so to speak, as this heralded one going into the city. Now, his followers had their own ideas. Their followers, his followers, who made up just a small sliver of those who were there in Jerusalem, they lined the streets and they did all the things they knew to do to say, this is our guy, this is our leader, this is the king we want. And so they did things like taking palm branches and laying them down on the ground, because in the Older Testament, they did that. And then they took cloaks off their back and they laid those down, kind of like a red carpet, and Hollywood does and so forth. And so they did that for Jesus to sort of indicate to anybody who is watching with all this throng of people that they are, in a sense, saying, you are our king, Jesus, even though there was a Roman governor just on the other side of the wall, so to speak. So the people who were there loved him, except for those who didn't love him. They were the leaders of Judaism, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the rulers of everything to do with the Jewish cultic religion. And they were looking at him, and they were not pleased with what they were seeing, because Jesus had taken issue with their teaching and their instruction many, many times. Toward the end of the week, a different crowd came into the frame. And now it was the Pharisees and the Sadducees crowd who was there before Pilate. Jesus had been arrested. That's what we look at toward the end of the week. He'd been beaten to a pulp, brought before the crowd, and Pilate asked, what do you want me to do with this Jesus? Pilate didn't care. But the crowd, now instead of saying, Hosanna in the highest, they are saying, crucify him. Crucify him. Why? Why were they so mad? Why were the Pharisees so mad? And the Sadducees, the teachers of the law? Well, it's because Jesus was on the front edge of inclusion and equity and love and grace in ways that had not been seen up until that point, at least not to that level. Jesus was known for reaching beyond international borders. And there's a great segment, a teaching, you've heard me talk about it many times, where he's on vacation probably with his disciples. He's out of the bounds of Israel, and a Syrophoenician woman comes and asks him for healing. And out of Jesus' mouth in the exchange comes a racial slur. The woman holds him accountable, and he is held accountable. He corrects his vision. He corrects his language. He heals the woman's child. The story goes on. That's inclusion. A couple other banner moments of inclusion. The whole story about the woman at the well. I've taught an entire series just on that scene, because the Samaritans were hated people. There was not a more hated group of people between Jews and the Samaritans. And Jesus strikes up a conversation with her, going across the lines and including her in everything he was about, and not telling her, you got to do it different or else, but just, you're already in. Those who worship God in spirit, worship in spirit and in truth.